Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today I'm going to read a very sparkly book by Peppa Pig. It's called Peppa in Space, and it's covered with black glitter and a big picture of Peppa in a spacesuit. At the end of our story, I'm going to open my bucket full of space-themed toys and pull a couple out to have a look. There's a peek. Now let's get to our story. It's a sunny day. Peppa is playing with her bouncy ball outside. George and his friend Edmund Elephant are playing with their space toys. They are pretending that they are on the moon. Mummy and Daddy Pig have an idea. There is a show at the museum about the moon and space. They all go see it. But Peppa is nervous. She doesn't want to go to the moon. Will we really have to go to the moon? Peppa asks. No, Peppa, Daddy Pig says. We're not going to the moon. We're going to the museum. Mrs. Rabbit gives Mummy Pig 5 tickets. Enjoy your trip to the moon, Mrs. Rabbit says. Peppa is confused. She thought they were only going to the museum, not the moon. Then Mr. Rabbit leads Peppa and her family into a rocket ship. Peppa thinks it looks real. Mr. Rabbit even puts on a helmet like a real astronaut. But Mr. Rabbit reminds her that it's only pretend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! On the first stop of the tour, Mr. Rabbit explains that there are only 8 planets that go around the sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Peppa and everyone she knows live on Earth. Some planets are made of rock, some planets are made of ice, and some planets are made of gas. The next stop on the tour is a big room with a moon. If this was the real moon, you could jump over my head, Mr. Rabbit says. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground, explains Mr. Rabbit. It is weaker on the moon, so you can jump higher. Peppa is impressed. Mr. Rabbit straps everyone into anti-gravity rubber bands. Then they bounce high into the air as if they are on the moon. It is a lot of fun. Say moon cheese, Mrs. Rabbit says as she snaps a photo. Moon cheese! Everyone cheers. The tour is over, but Peppa still has many questions. Are there trees on the moon? She asks. No, Mr. Rabbit answers. Are there any cars on the moon? Peppa asks. No, Mr. Rabbit answers. Are there any moon shops? Peppa asks. No, Mr. Rabbit answers. That would be silly. Peppa, her family, and Edmund enter the museum shop. Welcome to the moon shop, says Mrs. Rabbit. The moon shop sells many things. Daddy Pig buys a piece of moon cheese. The moon cheese is very tasty, he says. But the moon is not really made of cheese. It is made of rock. Mrs. Rabbit holds out a photo. Here is a photo of little piggies on the moon with an elephant, she says. Everyone giggles. They like the picture. Peppa, George, Edmund, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig have all had a fun day at the museum and in space. Okay, Tiny fans, I added a word into the book that wasn't there. Do you know what word it was? Let me know in the comments if you figured it out. The last page in the book is full of fun Peppa Pig stickers. You can put them in the storybook, or maybe you want to put them with your sticker collection in your sticker album. I'm now going to reach into the bucket and pull out a space toy. What will it be? I can't see. Oh, do you know what this is called? It's not an airplane. It's called a NASA United States Space Shuttle. How about I pick one more toy out of the bucket? Let's see. Oh, let's pull this. Oh, and I pulled out the exact same toy. There were 2 space shuttles in the bucket. Okay, maybe I will pick one more toy out. It's a sign that says Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. We visited this place in one of our videos, and we learned lots of fun space facts. What do you know about space? And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. We have a very special day today. Tiny Treasures is going to read our story, Peppa's First Pet. What kind of pet do you think she's going to get? Here's one of our special pets, Kitty. And as you know, Tiny fans, we have fish and a dog that you can see in some of our other videos. We'd like to know what pets you have, Tiny fans. Comment below and let us know. Let's get our story started.
Splish, splash, splosh. This is Goldie the fish. Goldie is very special. She is Peppa's first pet. Mommy and Daddy Pig helped Peppa choose her from the pet shop a few weeks ago. Today, when Mommy Pig feeds Goldie, Peppa notices that Goldie doesn't look happy. Mommy, Goldie isn't eating her food, cried Peppa. Oh dear, said Mommy Pig. Maybe she's not feeling very well. Let's call Dr. Hamster, the vet. Dr. Hamster says that they should bring Goldie to see her right away. Let's take the bus, says Mommy Pig. Beep, beep. Oh, look, here it is. Hooray, shout Peppa and George. 1 Mummy Piglet and 2 little piggies, please, Miss Rabbit, snorts Mommy Pig. And 1 fish, please, Peppa giggles. Miss Rabbit stops to pick up Mr. Bull. He is taking his tuba to the music shop to get it fixed. Hello, your fish doesn't look very happy. Should I play her a tune? Brrrp. What a funny noise. Next, Madame Gazelle and her friends get on the bus. Hello, Peppa. Oh no, is your fish sick? Let's sing a song to cheer her up. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. At the vet, when Mummy Pig puts food in Goldie's bowl, Goldie grins and eats it all. Maybe Goldie was bored at home. The fun bus journey must have cheered her up, Dr. Hamster laughs. You have a very healthy, happy little fish. Peppa is very happy. Mummy, it must have been the music and singing that made Goldie better, she giggles. And everyone on the bus home sings. The fish in the bowl swims round and round, round and round, round and round. The fish in the bowl swims round and round, all through the town. The end.
Great reading, Tiny Treasures. And did you see how Kitty helped us turn the pages with her nose? Silly Kitty. Thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today we are with Peppa and we'll be reading a book all about her daddy. Daddy Pig can be quite silly at times. My daddy. My name is Peppa, and this book is all about my daddy. He's the best daddy in the whole wide world, and the funniest. My daddy has an extremely serious job, but I don't think he's very serious at all. My daddy reads about very important matters, but I know that bedtime stories are his favorite. My daddy loves taking us on trips to the seaside, especially when I bury him in the sand. My daddy is always extremely helpful and very, very brave. But sometimes I think he's just a teeny tiny bit clumsy. My daddy is very good at planning DIY jobs, but he doesn't seem to be that good at doing them. My daddy says he likes to keep in shape all of the time, but his favorite exercise is lifting the remote control. My daddy says he loves his little red car so very, very much, but I know he loves us more than anything in the whole wide world. And thank you for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today Peppa is in the fairy garden learning about colors. What colors are the fruit in the basket? I see a green pear and a red apple, just like my dress. Ooh, and this pretty flower is yellow, just like the flower on my dress. That's right, Peppa. And today we're going to read Peppa's first colors. Who is wearing yellow boots? Zoe Zebra has made a yellow sandcastle at the beach. What else can you see that's yellow? A yellow sandcastle, a yellow dress, a yellow trumpet, yellow boots. What can you see in the square? It looks like George's green dinosaur. Wendy Wolf is wearing her green hat. What else can you see that's green? A green hat, a green bucket, a green car, a green dinosaur. What can you see in the diamond? It looks like a red backpack. Richard Rabbit loves riding his red tricycle. What else can you see that's red? a red feather, a red tricycle, red pajamas, a red backpack. What can you see in the star? George Pig is wearing a blue crown. What else can you see that's blue? A blue crown, a blue helmet, a blue cup, a blue ball. What can you see in the triangle? Peppa Pig is cuddling her orange teddy bear. What else can you see that's orange? An orange balloon, an orange teddy bear, orange water wings, an orange bouncer, orange ears. And that is the end of our color story. And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today we're going to read Peppa Pig Dentist Trip. And this book has stickers inside. Read along with us if you'd like to. Every morning, Peppa and George brush their teeth. Brush, brush, brush. Brush, brush, brush. George, are your teeth as clean as mine? Peppa asks, showing off her shiny white teeth. You both have lovely clean teeth. I'm sure the dentist will be happy, calls out Daddy Pig. Later that day, Peppa and George are at the dentist's office, waiting for their checkups. It is George's first visit. Peppa, George, the dentist will see you now, says Mrs. Rabbit. The nurse. Hooray! They both cheer. Peppa and George meet Dr. Elephant, the dentist. Who's first, he asks. I'm first, replies Peppa. I'm a big girl. Watch me, George. Open wide, please, Dr. Elephant says. Ah! Peppa opens her mouth as wide as she possibly can. Let's take a look, says Dr. Elephant, checking Peppa's teeth with a mirror. There, all done. What beautiful clean teeth, says Dr. Elephant. Now you can rinse your mouth. Gargle, p'chew! The pink liquid tastes like bubble gum. Peppa spits it out into the sink. It's George's turn next. George does not want it to be his turn. Dr. Elephant can tell he is nervous, so he lets George hold Mr. Dinosaur. All done. You have very strong, clean teeth, George. Dr. Elephant smiles. But wait, what is this? Cries Dr. Elephant. George has clean teeth, but this young dinosaur's teeth are very dirty. The water jet, please, Miss Rabbit, orders the dentist. He uses the water to clean Mr. Dinosaur's teeth. Pink, cries George, picking up a glass. That's right, George, says Dr. Elephant. Mr. Dinosaur needs to rinse with the bubblegum flavored drink. Gurgle. Wow, what shiny teeth you have, Mr. Dinosaur, cries Miss Rabbit. Dinosaur! Grr, says George. George loves Mr. Dinosaur, especially now that he has nice, clean teeth. And now Peppa and George have clean teeth too. And here are all the lovely stickers. Miss Rabbit, and there's Peppa brushing her teeth, and the elephant doctor dentist, the rinsing station with the pink solution, George's dinosaur, Peppa's teddy. There's George, and there he is brushing his teeth, and Peppa holding her toothbrush. And stay tuned for a video where Peppa does visit the dentist in our Calico Critters dentist set. And thank you for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today Peppa's on the little pink couch. We're going to read a story to Peppa Pig. But first, she needs something. It's Teddy, her nice soft stuffy. You can cuddle with Teddy while we read you the story. We're going to read Peppa Pig, Bedtime for Peppa. So if you're going to bed, this is the perfect story before bedtime.
One evening, Peppa and George are finishing their dinner. It is almost bedtime, but the little piggies are not sleepy. Can we play outside for just a teeny bit? Peppa asks. All right, says Daddy Pig, but you must come in when we all call you for your bath. Peppa and George go outside to play one last game before bedtime. Look, George, cries Peppa. Lots of muddy puddles. Hee, splish, hee, splosh. Peppa and George like jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Peppa, George, calls Daddy Pig. Bath time. Peppa and George run home in their muddy boots. Squish, squash. We found the biggest muddy puddle in the world, cries Peppa. Are you and George feeling sleepy? Asked Daddy Pig. No, Daddy, says Peppa. We are not even a tiny bit sleepy. Before bedtime, Peppa and George take their bath. Peppa likes splashing. George likes splashing too. Splish, splash, pop. Ho, ho, that's enough splashing, says Daddy Pig. Let's get you into your pajamas. Oh, can't we stay in the bath a little bit longer? Peppa asked. Bath time is over, says Daddy Pig. Before going to bed, Peppa and George brush their teeth. Brush, brush, brush. Okay, that's enough brushing, says Mummy Pig. Oh, but I think our teeth need a little bit more cleaning, says Peppa. Snort. When you're in bed, Daddy Pig will read you a story, Mummy tells them. Peppa and George like stories. They hurry into their beds. When Peppa goes to bed, she always has her teddy tucked in with her. When George goes to bed, he always has Mr. Dinosaur tucked in with him. Are you feeling sleepy now? Daddy Pig asks. No, Daddy, Peppa says. We need lots and lots of stories. Daddy will read you one story, says Mummy Pig. Which story would you like? The Red Monkey Book, please, says Peppa. Peppa and George like the Red Monkey Book. So Daddy Pig reads them the story of the Red Monkey. Once upon a time, there was a red monkey. He had all sorts of adventures. After every adventure, this red monkey would take a bath, brush his teeth, and go to sleep. When Daddy Pig finishes the story, Peppa and George are fast asleep. Good night, Peppa. Sweet dreams.
Peppa loves to sleep with Teddy at night. And in our house, Tiny Treasures and Tiny Treasures Mini each have a stuffy that they sleep with. Peppa, come with us and we'll show you their stuffed animals. Tiny Treasures Mini sleeps with this cute little monkey. Ee, 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 ee. And up here on the top bunk, Tiny Treasures sleeps with this cute little kitty. This kitty's getting a little dirty, but we'll have to give it a wash. It's time for Peppa to go to sleep in her bunk bed. And thank you for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello, and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today, we're going to read a Peppa Pig story. Peppa Goes Swimming. Peppa Goes Swimming. It's a beautiful, warm summer day. Peppa and her family are at the swimming pool, and it looks like they each had their own little change room. Peppa, George, let Daddy put on your swimming armbands, says Mummy Pig. Splash, splish. Mummy Pig convinces George to jump in the water, and he loves it. Hee hee hee, shouts George happily. Ho ho, well done, George, snorts Daddy Pig. Rebecca Rabbit, her brother Richard, and their mother arrive at the pool too. Hello, everyone, cries Rebecca. Squeak, squeak, says Richard. Richard, hold on to this float so you can practice kicking your legs, says Mrs. Rabbit. George, would you like to try kicking your legs too? Asked Mummy Pig. Hee hee hee, snort, giggles George. Ho ho, very good, laughs Daddy Pig. But please try not to splash. Big children don't splash, adds Peppa. Big children are very good at swimming, declares Peppa. When George and Richard are older, they will be able to swim like us, won't they, Rebecca? Yes, says Rebecca, as she watches the boys kick and splash. Peppa and Rebecca race each other up and down the pool with their swimming armbands on. They are having lots of fun swimming and splashing in the water. Oops! Richard has dropped his toy watering can into the pool. Mummy! Wah! Cries Richard. Sorry, Richard, I can't reach it. It's too far down, says Mrs. Rabbit. Luckily, Daddy Pig is an excellent swimmer. He takes off his glasses and dives down to get it. Ho ho! There you go, snorts Daddy Pig. Squeak, squeak, says Richard. Well done, Daddy, says Mummy Pig. Yes, thank you, Daddy Pig, says Mrs. Rabbit. Oh dear. Richard is so happy to have his watering can back that he splashes Daddy Pig with water. Hee 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 hee! George laughs. What a silly little pig and rabbit. Everyone has had a fun day swimming at the pool. And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today we have a real treasure. It's a book and it's the story of Peppa Pig. Shall we have a read along? And the first page, there's a picture of the family. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Peppa Pig, and her little brother George. The story of Peppa Pig. And there's Peppa, in a mud puddle, of course. And here is my family tree.
And as you can see, there's Grandpa Pig, Grandma Pig, Mommy Pig, and Daddy Pig. And then Peppa and her brother are at the bottom. Once upon a time, there was a lovable, slightly bossy little piggy named Peppa. Grunt, grunt. More than anything in the whole wide world, Peppa loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Squelch, squelch. Mummy Pig was Peppa's mummy. She was very wise about most things. Mummy Pig would say, "Peppa, when you jump in muddy puddles, you must wear your boots." Squelch, squelch. Daddy Pig was Peppa's daddy. He loved eating cookies, and he had a big round tummy. When Daddy Pig jumped in muddy puddles, he made a very big muddy splash. Ho, ho, ho! Splash! When Peppa's little brother George was born, Peppa helped look after him. As soon as George was old enough, Peppa taught him how to jump in muddy puddles. "George," Peppa said, just like Mummy Pig, "if you jump in muddy puddles, you must wear your boots." Squelch, squelch. George liked muddy puddles, but he liked his toy, Mr. Dinosaur, more. Even though George couldn't speak yet, he could say one word very well. Dinosaur! Grrr! Sometimes Peppa got a little bit annoyed with George. "George," she would sigh, "why do you always say dinosaur for everything? It's so boring." One day, Peppa, George, Mummy, and Daddy Pig got into their little car and drove into their new house on top of a little green hill. Peppa was excited about the new house, but she was very excited about the very wet and extremely muddy puddles in the yard. Beep, beep. "Can we go and jump in the muddy puddles?" asked Peppa. "It's nearly time for bed, Peppa," replied Mummy. "You'll have to wait until tomorrow." Peppa and George woke up very early the next morning and went to find Mummy and Daddy Pig. "Can we please go outside and jump in the muddy puddles?" asked Peppa excitedly. Snort, snort. Yawn. "We're going to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house today, Peppa," replied Mummy Pig sleepily. "You can jump in muddy puddles there." After breakfast, it was time to leave, so Peppa and her family jumped into their little car. "Ready?" asked Daddy Pig cheerily. "Yes, Daddy Pig," everyone answered back. "Then let's go," shouted Daddy Pig. Honk, honk, beep, beep. "Yippee!" cried Peppa. She couldn't wait to get to Granny and Grandpa's Pig's house and jump in muddy puddles. The family soon arrived at Granny and Grandpa's house. Peppa and George were very excited. They loved going to visit Granny and Grandpa Pig. "Granny Pig, Grandpa Pig, a gangy leg, baby, pig." "Granny Pig, Grandpa Pig," cried Peppa. "Gangy egg, Baba egg," shouted George. "Hello, my little ones," answered Granny Pig. "Come inside." Granny said, Peppa, "Can I jump in muddy puddles, please?" "I think Grandpa Pig has something to show you first, Peppa," said Granny Pig. Peppa was a little disappointed. She really wanted to jump in muddy puddles. Grandpa Pig took Peppa and George to his vegetable garden. "This is where I grow my vegetables," said Grandpa Pig. "First, I plant some seeds." "Can we eat your yummy vegetables, Grandpa?" asked Peppa, forgetting all about muddy puddles. "We have to wait for them to grow a bit bigger," replied Grandpa. "Oh!" gasped Peppa excitedly. "Veggies," says George. Suddenly there was a loud bang. "Oh dear!" gasped Grandpa Pig. "That was thunder. That means it's going to rain and we should hurry inside before we get wet." Peppa, George, and Grandpa Pig ran inside as fast as they could to get out of the rain. Peppa and George watched the rain splash, splash, splosh down the window. George started to cry. "Wah! Dinosaur!" "Don't cry, George," said Peppa. "It's only rain." But George wasn't crying because it was raining. George was crying because he had lost Mr. Dinosaur. Peppa searched upstairs, downstairs, and even in the toilet. But she couldn't find Mr. Dinosaur anywhere. Just then she had an idea. Peppa ran outside and found a very wet Mr. Dinosaur in Grandpa's very muddy vegetable garden. She ran inside and gave Mr. Dinosaur to George, and George was very happy. "Dinosaur! Grrr!" "The rain has stopped," cried Peppa. "What can we do now?" "I have a very good idea, Peppa," said Daddy Pig, pointing outside. "Hooray!" cheered Peppa, seeing the muddiest puddles ever. Peppa had been so busy looking at Grandpa's vegetables and searching for Mr. Dinosaur, she had forgotten all about jumping in puddles. Peppa loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles more than anything in the whole wide world. All of Peppa's family loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles more than anything in the whole wide world. Grunt, grunt. Hee hee hee, ha ha. Hee 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 hee, ha ha. Grunt. And they all played in the muddy puddles. And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye.